everyone. I'm taping this for my friend's son, actually. There's a lot of students who are interested in taking computer science or computer engineering or software engineering, data science, anything related to IT. Um, I've been working in the industry for 19 years now in Canada. So I would like to share something that I have seen before. So if you are considering taking computer courses and hoping to get a job in Canada in the future, this is a video for you. Okay, so I'm gonna start my presentation. This is I originally made it for Koreans, Koreans who wants to come to Canada with the IT jobs. So there be some Korean writings here, but please excuse me for that. Okay, here. Before I can explain the whole IT industry, I would like to explore these areas. So in whole IT industry, you're looking at, there's a hardware development, there's a software development. Hardware development companies can be IBM, HP, Dell, Lenovo, and Apple's and Samsung and Cisco, all this. There's a lot of companies out there. And the software development is the same thing, right? There's a lot of business related software developing companies, and there's a gaming industry, there's a graphic design, website, and there's a lot of scientific softwares out there as well. So as a student, if I was giving advice for my son, you have to understand what you like, what you're good at. Some people do like hardware development, some don't. And also there is some people who like to develop something like a robotics, but some don't. Some prefer how to transfer data, how to transform the data from here to here, and how to manipulating the data, that sort of things. So everybody has a different interest. A gaming development can be different, website can be different, right? It's so many different areas that you can study. So what I've seen before, for my generation, my time when I was in college, there was no such thing as there was data science, you know, type of thing. And the AI wasn't really the thing, I don't think. So anyways, right now I've seen the programs like computer engineering, there's a software engineering, computer science, there's a systems design, you know, things like that. There's so many different area, different program that you can choose from. So these are the things that you have to think carefully. But you have to observe yourself. What I like and what I'm good at can be different. It's totally different. I love programming. I was good at too, but there's a certain level. Like I couldn't do hardware development, like a robotics. That's too difficult for me. So everybody has their thing, right? So you have to decide what you're going to do. Next thing is I would like to explain how this whole industry works. And if you're looking for a job, what's out there in Canada, you have to think about those things, right? So I have this thing, solution provider and consumers. So what is a solution provider? Solution provider provide the software for the company. So you develop a software hoping to sell it, okay? Then the consumer is there's people out there willing to buy your software, and there's Solution providers are currently in the market. They provide a lot of different software, right, for their vendor. Their vendor means as a consumer, right? They hoping to sell it. And there's a lot of companies, enterprise solution, their finance is the most important thing, and the HR and the retail side, banking and manufacturing. There's a lot of software developers out there. The developing company are providing all this different softwares. So as a consumer, what they're looking for is software solutions for their business needs, right? And it can be finance, it can be HR, it can be retail, it can be banking, and the manufacturing. Okay, these are just a few examples. So there's a tons of, I'm pretty sure there's a tons of different softwares that I haven't heard, and there's a different industry as well. But usually how the industry works is that there's a solution provider and consumers. In between, there's called consulting firms. So what they do is when consumers are looking for example, a finance solution, okay, and there's many solution providers that you can choose from. Most usually when a consumer is looking for a software, they will go find all different software provider to demo their product. So mostly a lot of companies come into my company and then demo it about their finance product. And then we decide, okay, we're gonna go with the vendor A software for our company. But sometimes you buy the package of the software and then try to implement to my company, but sometimes it doesn't work. The reason is when you buy a clothes somewhere and then the pants are too long, sometimes you have to hem it, right? So things like that. So you have to modify your product to fit my needs. So that's why there's a consulting firms that they're out there looking for software fit for the consumer company. And so that's why there's a various consulting firm work with consumers looking for connect this provider and consumers at both sides. Sometimes you can see that. So in order to provide that kind of services, these areas, I'm not too sure for the solution provider. Probably they start with the junior programmers they might hire. But when you look at, I'm always was in the consumer side. So when I look at my career, not many junior person would join the company. Most of them are already have experience in either India, China, or it could be Korea. I don't know, but they are experienced. So as a college grad, just fresh out of the college, I wouldn't expect to join a company like us. You have to have some forms of experiences. It could be a co-op program. It could be internship from some companies. So you have to have some sort of experience, minimum 2 years, to get into the consumer side or consulting side. That's what I've seen. So now in Canada, there's a lot of experienced people are from either India or China. All these companies, like solution providers, are international companies, right? So you develop in China, and support is in India, and the sales department can be in Ireland or USA, Spain, things like that. So as a consumer company, if I need the help with we call the support team, but I don't know who's going to answer. It could be someone in Spain, it could be someone in China, it could be someone in India. So someone who is experienced in India, for example, they work in the help desk for so long, 3-4 years. They are very familiar with the product. Those are the people who sending the resume to Canada, and their chance to get into a company like a consumer side is higher than the students who graduate from university in Canada. That's the industry. So what I've observed is Canadian students are competing against people in the world, basically. So that's the thing that I want to stress to the Canadian students who need a lot of experiences by doing their co-op. I strongly suggest you doing that, okay? Sounds like too much nagging there, but that's what it is. So next thing I would like to touch, sorry about the Koreans. So what's available in the IT department job in Canada? So one thing I could say to help desk, yes, there is a help desk. And then there's a first line of support, there's a second line of support, and then there's infrastructure, application developer. There's a typo there, sorry about that. And there's a business analyst, but the business analyst is more like a, you have to know the business. If you are a finance analyst, you have to know the finance before IT. So someone who is experienced with the business, like finance, they can learn IT a little bit. So they are working for IT department, but their knowledge behind is mostly finance, okay? Those are the people, the analysts. And there's a project management. There's a lot of project managers out there. They manage the project. Let's say my company wants to implement product ABC. Product ABC is going to need $1 million for the project, for example. And we want the time frame from January, start the project, and we want to go live in August, things like that. You can determine that. The project manager is leading the project, and every step they have a checklist. They check. This one accomplished or not. Those are the type of job is project management. I didn't explain too much about the infrastructure. Infrastructure team is what they do is they usually setting up the server, how to use a CPU utilization, how to let's say you're building a server, how many CPU need, how many RAM you need, what kind of network line you're going to put it in, what kind of database, OS, things like that you have to determine. And then they're the one installing all this stuff, right? And those are the team that works for server, like a system administrator, DBA. There's a job for network analysts, those type of guys out there. And also there's I didn't mention it here, but there's a security. IT security is a very, very demanding job because there's the internet. There's always a hacker is looking for a way to get into the system. So IT security is another good area to get in. And there's a business and integration is usually one business to the other, one system to the other system. How are they going to transfer data? How a server has this kind of data and that they want to massage it, and then they transfer to the other system so that their needs were met. Things like that. They have to integrate to system, between the system, how it works together. Those are the jobs out there in the Canadian IT department. Okay, this is a funny joke. A lot of people don't know what IT department does, but you can solve 99% of computer problems by rebooting. Sometimes it's true, so true. We try to troubleshoot what's wrong with the server. Sometimes we reboot, sometimes solve the problem. Not all the time, though, but that's what it is. This is how IT groups were structured and what individual roles are like. So there's a lot of names, right? Here's a security team, there's a system development and the service delivery and the service architect and application management, infrastructure, operations, things like that. In order to run the IT shop, we call it IT shop, the whole IT shop, there's a lot of people who first defense is make sure the power supply is consistent so that server will be always up. Without the power, the server is no use, right? So you have to make sure the power supply is going properly. And is there any server went down? There's always people out there monitoring the system. Oh yeah, you can see it from there. I'm gonna move my face a little bit. So where were we? We were at operations. So there's all these operations monitor 24 hours, make sure the system is up and running and the jobs are running fine. You know, those type of jobs out there. So I don't know how much university education system can prepare student to fit into this kind of market. Okay, so not all the computer science program will cover all this stuff. So a lot of the basic stuff you're going to learn, and then when you come out of the university, you have to choose all these different positions, right? It's based on your experience of what your interests are, you know, things like that. I just explained about the operations. Next thing is the infrastructure. Infrastructure team is usually system administration. They make sure that OS is working correct, all this drivers working correct, you know, that installing the OS database, all kinds of stuff like that. And the database administrators are usually make sure database is backed up so they have a recovery points and they can manipulate the data. They can make sure the data is available for business. That's their role. And the network administrators always network is up and running and make sure there's no, sometimes they work with the security team, no one hack into our network, you know, kind of stuff like that. And then application management. Application management is enterprise system support. Some do that. There's a lot of enterprise solution that has been modified to suit their business needs. So those are the people work with the support team. If the software doesn't work as they expected, then they have to solve that issues, right? Things like that. And move on to service architect. Architect is usually who looking at the inventory of the system, and then they understand how the data is flow. Data is flow from point A to point B, how it's going to work, and what need to transfer, you know, things like that. Those are the team that works with that. There's a, so that's why there's analyst and all this different various roles here. But and next thing is service delivery, service desk. If there is issues, so there is people to call. So those things are there, incident management, all this stuff. Okay. And when they try to develop our system, what they do is a project team, sometimes they have to lead what they need, right? So there's a project team is there, development and QA team is always make sure testing is done, everything is working as they expected, you know, things like that. Okay, so it was it's very quick. I cannot cover everything in a short video, but anyways, if you have any questions about any department, what their roles are, you can shoot me an email, then I will try to answer my best to explain. And next thing, probably these are the area that you have to pay attention very closely. What is the future of department? As I said earlier, in Canada, you have to think about Canada. If you are interested in hardware development, some companies like Apple or Samsung, even Samsung, if you want to design it, the new hardware, you have to go to San Francisco, right? So there's no job for that in Canada, right? I haven't seen one. We used to have a RIM. RIM is a BlackBerry company. I don't know how strong RIM is now, but those companies are not there. Maybe there is some, but it's something that I don't know. Anyways, if you're interested in developing a hardware and related software, I would recommend you to take a computer engineering side. They are more like a hardware development and things like that. OS level software. You have to write OS level software. If you are interested in software development, like I want to write a Linux, I want to write iOS, creating a software tool basically. Those things you want to go for software engineering. Let's say, but if you want to working for Canadian IT department, a Canadian company IT department, for example, I mean, computer science is okay. But if you are interested in gaming development or animations, those are not the computer science at all. So those are totally different area that I'm not familiar with what Canadian IT department is looking for. I'm talking about these are the companies like any kind of bank industry, TD Canada Trust, CIBCs, or Royal Bank, Scotiabank, and there is Bell and Rogers, and in retails like a Canadian Tire, Sobeys, Loblaws, Metros, all this company. If you want to working for those kind of companies, what's hot out there, right? Newest technology that not developed. I don't know what that is, but nowadays, data management is very hot. So data scientist is one role, data engineer. Data engineer need to know Hadoop or Yarn, stuff like that. There's a lot of data engineer software. Python is another one. So those are the things that if you are strong at statistics, those things, data science, and there's a data science major in U of T is available as well. So if you're interested in that area, you can take that course. Next thing is cloud solution. Cloud solution is very hot nowadays. They call it data farm, data lake. There's just so many different terms. Before it's called a data center, but nowadays it's data farm. So they, Microsoft or Google Cloud and Amazon, AWR, those kind of companies are building huge data centers in, I think, Norway. I think it's because the computer is generating so much heat. So they have to build a data center in the colder places like Norway so that they don't have to spend so much money on the ACs. So probably Africa is not a good choice for the big data farm. Anyways, I don't know where they located, but they are setting up huge data centers in somewhere. So as a consumer, we just logging in and then use the space, and then that's it. And then we pay what you used. And then it was just a plug and play, and you just adopting the solution easier than setting up the server, plug it in, and all this install. You don't need that, all that stuff. You just buy the space and just using it. So a lot of companies are demanding that way. So the cloud solution is the one of the area that you can study. The other one is AI technology. In the Azure or any kind of a cloud solution, they provide AI solution. There's I don't know exactly how this AI works, but what I was told was you can, it's like a business analyst tool that you can implement AI against this data. AI would do something, but you have to tell AI what to look for, what kind of information you're looking for. I guess that's how the AI works. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still in training for those area. Anyways, those are the things that you are going to expose more, and you should learn about. Okay. And the next thing is this is related to someone who studied the computer engineering, someone who is into robotics. So robotic is usually automation of the manufacturing business. Before human did everything, humans hand did. The car was built by human, but there's no longer building it anymore, right? Everything is done by robotics. So a lot of automation, and I think it's coming. It's going to happen more. A lot of companies investing money on automations. Someone like my job can be replaced, probably not by automations, but probably either AI solution if there is one. But anyways, these are the trend I've seen. These are the hot area that you can study right now. Maybe you can hopefully utilize that skill in the next 10 years. But anyways, I'm trying to squeeze everything within a one video. It's kind of hard, but if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, and I will try to answer you best of my knowledge. I don't know everything, but I've been in the industry for close to 20 years now. So I can speak to certain things. I can give you advice for certain things in my area. Okay, if you ask me questions about robotics, probably I cannot answer that. But the thing is, if you are in a Canadian IT department, how it works, what kind of job would that be if I study this, things like that kind of question you can ask me. But anyways, please feel free to comment on my video. Thank you for watching. Bye.